Listen up, all fight fans and fitness junkies. You've been listening to me talk about Jocko Fuel for a while now, and if you've been waiting, the wait is over. This August, you can score a massive 30% off on all of Jocko Fuel's top-tier supplements. That's right, 30% off. Jocko Fuel is loaded with all of the good stuff and none of the bad. We're talking no added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and absolutely no gray area or banned substances. Just pure, clean fuel to power your performances. And guys, I really want you to try some of my favorites like Jocko Go and Jocko Hydrate. This deal is only going to be available for the month of August. So use code CHAEL30 or go to JockoFuel.com. Don't wait. Fuel up with Jocko Fuel and crush your goals. Guys, click on the link below to make it happen. Hey, Siri, text Dustin Poirier. Are you fighting Colby in November? Send. Hey, Siri, text Colby. Are you fighting Poirier in November? Why is Uncle Chael having to find out from the internet and not from you? Question mark. Hope you're well. Period. Send. Colby Covington, Dustin Poirier. Guys, is this on? Is this on or not? I got news. I've got a great source. You don't usually reveal your source, but mine's great. Adam Felters, this guy, I have enjoyed my friendship with him as a pen pal. I get nothing from him that isn't right. And he's the one that told me. I wrote him instantly. I said, hey, what's your source? And he goes, well, I'm telling you the fight's happening. I didn't speak to these guys, but the fight's happening. Okay, hey, that's good enough for me. I go online. I can't find it. And later, 10 hours, I did find it. But I also know there was a misprint somewhere in there because it said headliner. Headliner. It actually said that. Now, first off, the UFC doesn't use that term. They use the term main event. They use the term co-main event. They use the term main card. They don't use the term headliner. Now, I love the fight, and the fight also makes sense, but I know it's not the main event because it's on the Madison Square Garden card in November. Anders versus Weidman got added to that, by the way. You want to talk about a brawl? You're going to get one there. Save that thought, another time. So, it's Colby and Dustin happening. And by the way, if it is, I believe that is one of those fights that they would make 5 rounds. I believe that. Both guys would want that. I believe the fans would want that. I believe the UFC for what they're going to have to pay to get that. Not to mention, that's Dustin Poirier's final. Colby has never spoken those terms. Never, not once, has he ever talked about the light at the end of the tunnel dimming. But he also does not do without putting up every piece of resistance he can, anything but title fights. This is different. This is different. This is huge. This is going to bring in media. This is going to bring in attention. There's a real personal beef here. And this fight needs to happen. Like, if these guys, I can't imagine either one of them would turn this down. I have a really hard time imagining that they're going to fight him. Do you ever get that way? Where a fight is so good, you feel like you're getting false information? Randy Couture versus Vitor Belfort, part 1, and this is back in the 90s. My entire wrestling team drove from Eugene, Oregon, which is just over 2 hours away, to my parents' house, because my parents had a satellite dish. My mom made everyone dinner. The entire team took 5 and 6 cars to jump on the road and drive 2 hours just to watch this fight. And you know what? We did not believe when we scheduled the party, when we made the drive, that it would happen. It was like one of these too good to be true. And Randy was very different for us, I should add. He was the coach at Oregon State right up the road. So this was like a ultra exciting thing. And when I look at Dustin and I look at Colby, as hard of a time as I would think that they're going to find each other, I mean, and they both put the mouth to each other. Like, these guys went at it pretty good. And there is a real story here that is ever bit Colby versus Masvidal. Everything that ever had to do with Colby and Masvidal involved Poirier. If you guys know that, then you're with me, but I'm sharing. If you don't, you're going to find out. However, they were different weights. Like, I would not blame Dustin in the least for not wanting to go up to 170, not to mention if it is going to be his last fight, which he has said. That is a long and painful evening. And to take a risk like that on your last fight, going into a different weight class, I mean, there's just a lot on it. But I couldn't imagine Dustin getting that phone call and him saying no. I can't picture that at all. I can't picture Colby saying no. I have just as a hard time as seeing them both say yes. Like, it's a weird thing. Dustin was only fighting for championships. Covington only fights for championships. These guys are now going into a non-contendership, non-championship match. Like, this is straight up personal grudge. And I'm here to ask you guys, is it happening? I got 2 different reports. And the one that I had that looks like artwork put out by the organization used the word headliner. But I was either at Bloody Elbow or I was at MMA Mania. You can't trust. Jesse Holland works for one of those guys. Like, you can't trust anything that you get. It's got to be vetted beyond that. It requires further research. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to the Eagles. Is there another show in New York? Is that what I've got wrong? Are they going to New York twice in November? That can't be, but it's one possibility. Has the UFC gone to a new vernacular of headliner? I don't think so. Is Poirier and Dustin fighting on that card? Because I've heard such incredible things about the card, but man, that spices that card in ways. Oh my goodness. I was out there a couple of years ago. Well, in fact, it was Colby. It was Colby versus Kamara, part 2. But they put a brawl on that card. It was Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. Oh my goodness, was this ever a brawl? Then you had Rose versus Weili that was this added treat. All I'm suggesting for you, if that fight and the other rumors that we're hearing about Madison Square Garden are in fact all on the same card, I mean, you're talking about one of the great cards ever. Because there's another title fight offered, and now I'm wondering if you guys have been told that or if I got inside scoop. So I'm leaving that out. Do you guys know about the other title fight that's being offered that night? Or at least discussed on top of Jones, Stipe? All right. I'm not positive you do. And I really do want to know if that match is going to happen. I would imagine that it's going to be 5 rounds. I don't want that. I don't even agree with that. But I would predict for you that that is. I don't think you can have this much hype and then have either guy flinch, which I haven't noticed. I have not heard either guy deny and say that's not true, but I also haven't heard them confirm it. I haven't heard their trainers. I haven't heard their managers. I know that you guys want that match. So, at a minimum, we have a very blundered fight announcement, at a minimum. And how would we get to that? Are tickets on sale for New York? I don't think so. I don't think there's any tickets for that far out in November. Which would mean the UFC didn't make this announcement, which would mean somebody slipped it out. But whoever slipped it out didn't slip it out with accurate artwork. Like, remember when T-Mobile put up Jones versus Ciryl Gane? But it was very hard to deny because it looked beautiful, and you could tell they went to a lot of work just to have that digitally built in the program to post out on the side of the wall in the first place. This is a little different. It used the word headliner. That is not a word the UFC uses. And I cannot get strict confirmation on this match. I'll find out. You guys let me know what you think. I'll get back to you with the answer.